Alright, I'm gonna try this again here. Trying to adjust my audio and everything. I was hoping to listen to music, so I didn't want to have to do a whole lot of talking, but apparently I was breaking copyright laws or something. I'll figure it out later. If anybody does join, I'd like to just state that I just started playing Project Gorgon about a week ago. It's a lot of fun, very in depth, tons of content. I'm finding that the skill and crafting aspects of the game are extremely in depth. So that's kind of what we're working on right now. Actually, just selling and looting is quite the chore. I find myself sitting for over an hour at a time trying to figure out just what type of loot is worth saving. Um, Storage is very limited here. Uh, so yeah, I'll try to bring up stuff as I go here. And yeah, anyone wants to ask something, just hit up chat. I'll reply either via voice or chat. Um, so I'm gonna sit down and get back to selling off my equipment here and worrying about raising favor with these NPCs and whatnot. Um, yeah, all right. Kind of get at it here. Suppose I'll try to explain a little bit of stuff as I go along here, just in case anybody's watching that isn't familiar at all with the game. Um, so what I'm doing right now is I'm talking to Larsan here. I'd like to get my favor with them raised, and these are things. If you do small talk with the NPCs, if they have favor levels, you can find out what you want to give them or what they want you to give them. Likes, loves obviously give more points, and some of them will have things they hate for whatever reason that is. I don't know. Maybe you give them something and they decrease the favor. I don't know why you would do that yet, but maybe that's it. So yeah, she likes fancy rings, gems, and figurines. Um, I just went to the crypts a little while ago to try to collect spider uh, eggs, legs, and everything. So I got some rings here. I'm gonna go ahead and give her some rings, and you can see I have it to where the screen on the right, the box on the right, is what I'm wearing, and it compares, what the item is. So that this item I'm looking at is actually the item on the left. We have Bard, which is completely useless for me. So we're gonna turn it in. Which one points? Like to kind of get an idea with some of the stuff, how many points, because there's some stuff, gray items especially, that will give like point two favor, um, and it's almost to the point where right now I'm a broke ass, so I'd like to get money for things that aren't really even worth turning in for favor. So um, I believe the blue items are gonna give some decent points here. Yeah, that's not too bad. Um, Backstabber's ring, level 20. So my skill sets on this guy so far, I've been working on bows, ranged, bows for ranged, and then daggers. Like to do somewhat of a stealthy type of character here. Power combat backstab. Yeah, I'm not real worried about this stuff. It's the drops are ridiculous. So far, I've noticed that there's no shortage in loot. Um, so I'm not gonna focus or worry too much on whether or not I'm giving away something I can use. But I do need to start thinking about some better gear because the swordsman's orbiting gem of anger tossing. Um, as you can see, hip throw and stuff. That's for the monk or the weaponless, unarmed combat. I've had this hat here since Anagog Island, which is the starting zone. So I know I have some stuff in the bank that I'm looking at using too. But snare arrow, gut damage. Hmm. I'm gonna hold off on doing anything with that. So we'll finish our favor with her. Rings, yeah, rings are gone, so that's good. Talk, shop, sell, see if we can sell, yeah. Necklace, I'm saving that necklace. So we're gonna go put that in our bank here. I'm gonna probably refer to a lot of things as if I'm playing WoW till I'm used to speaking my. Whoops, something's shooting me. Who's shooting me? What? Huh. Yeah, I must have the curse, huh? I guess. Mm. So Ursula is actually NPC out of the dungeon, the Crypts, Cerbul Crypts, Cerbul, however you say that. And I'm not even going to take the pebble. Um, yeah, I'd say one of the biggest things as far as this general gameplay I've noticed so far um, is inventory space. Very, very difficult. So, and right here I got the multiplier turned on. When you're in Cerbul or around a lot of other players, and I'm sure there's other options or graphic things that I can change to help. But you see people floating. So, anyways, default it starts you out at 1 on the entity animation. Um, you have to decrease it. Well, I guess you don't have to if you're having issues like I was with the lag. You turn your camera and it just keeps spinning you around and you teleport all over and it is just horrible. So I found someone that had said turn it down and that helps. So we're gonna go ahead and talk to Myrna. Loves rare recipes, and I think we had found a recipe. I don't know if it's considered a recipe. Body slam value 3,000. Hmm, that might be worth trying to sell. Let's see what else. If that may have been the only one I picked up. And so yeah, right now I'm just trying to make sure I don't make any mistakes, give my gear away, or sell it appropriately wherever best it fits. I'm still neutral with her. I'd like to neutral. I think comfortable is after neutral. So I'd like to at least get comfortable with her because I think they increase what you can buy and sell with them and even training because a lot of these ones with training you have to have certain comfortable level. See, it says right there for poison arrow. I'd like to get fire arrow. Um, so anyways, gee whiz. I don't know if I want to try to turn that in for favor. And so the reason I'm hesitant of this is because, um, again, I'm still new enough to the game where it says loves rare recipes. I don't believe that's rare for one. I have found with one of the other NPCs that even though it wasn't a colored, it was I can't remember what it was I was using, but I turned in something and it wasn't colored. But even though they had said loves, I think it was rare or something. Um, I turned it in and it wasn't rare quality, which I think rare quality is like this hat was that pink or purple. Um, so whichever it is, anyhow, the body slam obviously isn't color coordinated. So I don't know if spells or recipes. I don't know if it means recipe for skills or recipe for food or cooking. So I'm hesitant to turn it in because if you turn it in and it isn't what she wants, you literally lose that item for nothing. And the fact that it says value 3,000 and I am broke, I'd like to see if I can turn that into someone. Um, which, when you're selling stuff, you have to turn stuff into the appropriate people because not everyone buys everything. So basically, what they sell is the same type of items that they will buy. There's a couple NPCs that do buy most everything, anyways, and those people you still have to have a good amount of favor with to make it even worth selling to them still. Because if you don't have high favor with them, if you're not friends or best friends or so on, they don't pay you very well for the merchandise. So, oh, I don't want to turn this in and lose it. Loves fire staves. So I have staves here. I still have yet to see something that says, specifically fire. I have turned in staves to her before. So I'm gonna try it again here. I don't care about stay with archery. We'll just see. Yeah, see, didn't say anything about fire on it, and we got 7.3 favor with her. So again, there's to me some uh, I don't know what do you call it, like unknowns with this kind of stuff. I don't know if it's mistakes. I don't know if it's clear. Things just aren't very clear and how they're. Yeah, see 14.5 for that stave, whatever, staff, battle hardened staff, blue quality. Again, you're gonna get more for what you're turning in, depending on its quality. That's for sure. So, yep, 20. That's pretty good. So here we are. We're comfortable with her. Awesome. Well, that's a big jump. So that was worth it. Again and again, I just basic reservoir arrows. Those staffs, I think I picked two of those up off the ground in the crypts, while other people were just dropping things. I'm not even sure if I looted that off the mob or not. And I guess another thing is, I don't remember because it was a couple hours ago and I've been screwing around so much. Um, the When I was at the crypts, the Cerbul crypts, we had killed the nameless one. I'm not even sure what. I'll have to check what boss it was. It's the big skeleton boss. It's pretty cool. There was about five of us. There were some other guys and the only way you can really tell in here is by your level and whatnot, um, or not by because you don't have levels. So the only way you can really tell what's going on is by health. I mean, that's a good indicator of how experienced a player is because in this game you only have um, leveling abilities. Every ability has its own group, so you level depending on what you're using and whatnot. So, anyways, dungeons, Cerbul, Sewers Crypts, Cerbul Crypt, yeah, Nameless Guardian, big skeleton guy, and it was actually pretty neat. We got in there, and it took our group of five, plus there's probably three or four other random people fighting the thing, and we did kill him, and I got some drops off him. I don't remember which came off him, but anyways, I'm sure this is boring as hell. I'm just sitting here talking about everything. Oh, geez, still getting mouse lag here. But what are we gonna do? Turn in equipment. So Joe here, you can turn in uh, equipment storage, knives, bows, gloves, hats, basic equipment stuff. That's all he will store. But it is nice to have that. So, anyways, yeah, the crypts, it was really awesome. It was the first time I killed any boss type of thing other than at the starting zone. The starting zone, we killed the big head guy, but that's not a big deal. But the nameless guardian at the crypts, after you kill him, you go into the room, which you can't get into without killing him. Um, there's like a series of statues, and if you go in there and you look around and stuff, there's like a secret code that you got to figure out. And so I got in there, everybody else disbanded, everyone else left. I was sitting in the room by myself. I sat and started writing notes and did all the math and figured the clues out. And by the time I figured the clue out to actually do whatever, and I still don't even know if you enter in the right stuff, I still don't know what happens because all the all the mobs had spawned back in by the time I figured it out, and I was by myself. And it is very difficult to get back there by yourself, and it just wasn't worth the time and the investment right now for me, just to figure out what that was. So I have it wrote down. I'm good. I'll go back at a later date when I have time and I'm more familiar with things, and go in there and find out what the big secret is. So, yeah, I was gonna store this, which you can just left click, but snake light, yeah, basic, and a lot of what I've noticed too is with these stats, and so this stat system is very chaotic to me. It's confusing. It's cool, um, but for me, I don't know. I just could sit and stare at things all day long, and I overanalyze, and um, I'm just not that good with it to just make decisions, I guess. But like this, so you have the basic bow of archery, the tireless basic bow. Obviously, the tireless bow is better quality, which, as far as I can tell, that just means that it has more stats on it. Uh, so you'd think, yeah, that's better, right? Okay. Well, so basic bow of archery, we'll say the basic bow, the one on the left, projectile accuracy boost when knife fighting skill is active. Okay, don't really know what that means. I don't know, because in knife fighting, at some point you can actually get a skill that you throw knives, as so it's just more range. And then it archery base damage, which is cool. So yeah, trying to figure out which one's better. Anyhow, the tireless bow, max health 30, armor regen in combat, which is huge. Health, power, refresh. So what I think's going on is when you're fighting and stuff, you'll see your spells like down here like this. No, basic attacks, like your basic attack says once every 15 seconds. Basic attacks generate a combat refresh that restores, so on and so forth. Well, anyways, so when you're in combat, every 15 seconds, depending on, and I don't know if you have to use them. I haven't figured it out yet if you have to use it to activate it or if it just automatically does it because it's on your bar. However, man, I should really take these videos and break some of the stuff down and maybe get some conversations going about these things because as I'm just sitting here in a live stream, which I only did this because it was more convenient than trying to record and edit um, and compress and all that crap. So maybe I'll start doing streaming tutorials or something just to make it a little easier to get some content up. But anyhow, if anybody watches this and comments, please share your opinions. Um, I know I'm probably horrible at this, but there's just a lot of content missing on this game. I'd like to help be a part of getting it out there. But anyways, so yeah, with this refresh abilities and stuff, I'm not really sure how it operates. I do see it. It'll flash like wings. So up in the right hand corner, you see the set of the wings. The picture will actually change to that set of wings. Again, I just haven't paid enough attention to where I can say for sure that it's not after you use the ability. I'm not sure if it just does it on its own. So anyway, so when you're looking at back to this bow, the combat can be really crazy. The normal open world mobs doesn't seem to be that big of a deal necessarily, but like going into the crypts, and I do know that the crypts have been said to be more of a group intended zone. And every time I've been there, because I've gone there a few different times for questing purposes and stuff, but because this is the open dungeon, it's not instanced dungeons. You have tons of other people, so I've actually I've actually gotten quite far just randomly walking around and then hooking up with people in there and fighting and whatnot. So it's not a big deal. But my point with this is these refresh abilities. So you have two different ways that you gain health back. You do have things, I believe, snack. I'm not sure if food does it too, but snacks. There are snacks that will say, instantly, or is it like bacon? Instantly, your Gorgon level. You eat it, restores 50 health, 20 power. That's it, right? Well, but then you have other food that is basically a buff. So it buffs your regen rates. And as you can see, it says there um, per update and then per update in combat. Okay, so you have two different ways, and you will notice this. There's a significant difference. This is kind of why I'm over explaining all this. But if you don't know, the when you're in combat and you're fighting, all right, you get these buffs like this basic attack every 15 seconds. Well, if the fight's not lasting 15 seconds, obviously you're not going to get the effect of that, right? And I'm not sure how the buffs from the food work if they are on that 15-second timer or not, but it adds up. So like with these bows, you get extra health refresh abilities in combat. That's huge, and that's kind of going into my whole point is refresh abilities while you're in combat seem to be huge, like just crazy important. I've gone in there. I went into the crypts where I had already upgraded a lot of my stuff, and I'd taken, things where like on the left, I was more worried about my fighting skill or my base damage and how much damage I was doing. And so the first round, I replaced a lot of gear with just stuff that I thought, hey, archer, rogue, do a shitload of damage from range when they get close enough. Finish them off with, the other dagger skills and stuff. Which I got some pretty sick combos here, but does a ton of damage. But my point being is, you get into that dungeon and you're fighting a mob, and it's still kind of sloppy fighting um, mechanics in this game. I feel, but the regen. I mean, you'll be fighting one mob, and I'll ding him with the aim shot, does a bunch of damage, comes in, and then I waste him with Venom Strike. I go to the very next mob, the same mob, and I hit him with the aim shot, doesn't do anything. Hit him with the Venom Strike, doesn't do anything. And I've dumped, I'll go, so there's sometimes I'd go all the way down to my third spell, fourth spell, or ability before I actually do any damage to the same mob that I just two-shotted. It's really crazy. Some of these combos, the way the spells, the abilities line up and stuff, it's actually pretty important. But my point being is when you're in there and you're fighting and you just can get yourself into trouble, and if you have like no regen abilities, like you're just all damage, you're gonna die like very, very, very quickly. um, Mobs call other mobs. I don't know how that happens. I've seen some tooltip notes on things that actually are how I found out that's what was going on, because you'd be standing there, you wouldn't see any mobs around you at all, and next thing you know, there would be a just a ton of mobs attacking you. Um, so all this stuff adds up. It's all very important. And um, I'm gonna pause there for a second. We're gonna I'm taking this bow. So I'm sticking with the tireless basic bow. I'm not gonna wait for my archery level to increase to switch bows. I think the max health, the armor regen, the health regen refresh in combat, like all those stats are way too vital to me. Um, for the other bow. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually one of the NPCs collect bows. Um, Ethuel, a Layhill. He is the bow master, whatever arch master. You can talk to him. He's in town here. He accepts bows and whatnot. So make sure I can't. Oh, I can. Cool. I got my knife fighting skill up high enough. I'm gonna go ahead and equip my epic shiv here. So we'll go ahead and actually get rid of that one too. But so yeah, we're gonna go to the bower. We'll turn the bow in for favor points. Um, let's see. He is over here. I think this is him. And that's something else too. Is you have no way to tell if a character is a NPC or another player. There might be something in settings. Again, I haven't spent so much time just trying to even figure everything with this game out that it's just gonna have to wait before I look anymore for things like that. So, uh, small talk loves magical bows. So I'm hoping that this is a magical bow. Again, don't really know, but we're gonna go ahead and give it to him. And if it doesn't do anything, we just lose out. But cool, 15 favor, so that was worth it. Um, Rusty Shiv, Rusty Shiv. Shiv poison stabbing. Man, that's a lot of damage. Venom Strike deals an additional 48 poison damage over 12 seconds. Ugh. And see, the reason I guess I'm not, it's not even up for debate because the epic one does have so many more stat boosts that I can't part with it. Um, but right now, until I get Poison Arrow, it's not really. I don't even know if that's see, and that's things like that. So poison arrow makes targets attacks deal -1 damage for 10 seconds. Is that I really? I mean, what's that really doing? Um, I don't know. I don't know how to quantify that or multiply it or into cents yet with this game, but just doesn't sound like much to me. Most of our attacks are doing 10, 20 plus damage. What's -1 damage? I just don't know. Blur cut restores 10 health after. So our blur cut, which already is. Oh, oh, you know what? I thought it was surge cut. So surge cut is I'm trying to think of what. So what would this class? I want to call like so your rogue abilities, but it's not really rogue. So just your knife ability, surge cut. So surge cut restores 25 health. Um, for some reason, I was thinking. Oh, a little bit of a lag spike there. Yeah, I was thinking that that was blur cut. So blur cut's the one that I took off the bar, and that would be another 10 health, and then +3 knife damage. Hmm. Oh, that was nice of her. Okay, so we have. Oh, yeah, I actually just think that. Yeah, there we go. Um, Gosh, all the damage from that Venom Strike for our bow. So I'm not gonna sit here and waste time right now. Well, I'll have to think about that. But it almost seems like that Shiv. Actually, I'm gonna hold on to it, so I'm gonna go put that in storage. And then I'm gonna, oh God, take a break here. Um, yeah. Well, I'm sure that was boring as hell. I actually put something on here to describe that was more just explaining in general talk of the game or something. So, all right, thanks.